Magandang hapon, my dearest kapamelas. Kamusta tayong lahat on a Saturday afternoon? I know this is our brand new season and I am very much excited to be spending my Saturday with you. At ito, sa pambihirang pagkakataon, hapon muna tayo magsasama-sama ngayon dahil sa isang mahalagang tao na makakasama natin. Of course, we are very happy that he said yes to us. Pero bago natin siya makausap, gusto ko munang kamustahin ang lahat ng mga nanonood ngayon sa Facebook. Kamusta kayong lahat? Sa YouTube, hello, special shout out sa inyong lahat, lalo na kay Mark Noveloso na nanonood ngayong hapon na naging dahilan kung bakit natin makakausap ang isang taong tinitangala at hinahangaan ko. At syempre sa ating mga viewers on Kumu right now, we have so far 41 viewers who have joined us this afternoon. Hello at special shout out kay Sarah, kay Rose Evangelista, kay DJ Striker, kay Matthew 98, kay Isabel 15. Maraming salamat sa pagtutok nyo this afternoon. Marami na tayong mga shout-outs na nakukuha so far and I'm just very grateful to be with you on our brand new season. I cannot believe that so far we've done 12 episodes so far at natapos na natin ang isang buong season. At kayo ang dahilan kung bakit natin to ipinagpapatuloy. This was just a dream, but now it has become a reality because of you. Salamat because of your continuous support, of your continuous desire to involve in a personal, intimate, and bold conversation. I am continuing what I want to do with my life, which is to just talk and learn from our guests. At sa pagpapatuloy ng ating simpleng kwentuhan, pero ang usapan, laging melaman ngayong gabi, naway mayroon kayong bauning maraming aral tungkol sa buhay. Ako po si Miss Mela, and welcome to Threesome Season 2. Again, magandang hapon sa lahat ng mga kakapasok pa lamang sa Threesome. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nakatutok sa Facebook, sa YouTube, at sa Kumu. Grabe ang kaba ko this afternoon because tonight, sabi nga nila, when you are about to face someone that you admire so much, you just can't help but feel nervous inside. I'm very fidgety right now. If you are with me right now, you can just tell how nervous I am. But the nerves are helping me because this is once in a lifetime opportunity na sana maulit in the future, but I'm already valuing this moment. We all know him as the king of talk, and he's an icon, especially to the LGBTQ plus community. But growing up, I did not just see him as a celebrity or as a TV host, but rather I saw him as my hero because when the moment I saw him on television, he was a testament that I too can have my space and can own it. At salamat sa kanya, I cultivated that desire to be good at what I do best. I guess it's speaking and communicating with people. He definitely doesn't need any introduction, but I just want to let him know that who I am right now is inspired by him. And tonight, having him is such a privilege and an honor. Kaya naman sa lahat ng mga kapamelang nakatutok sa atin, sulitin na natin ang gabing ito na magkakasama ako, ikaw, and the interviewer himself, Pinoy Pride, Tito Boy Abunda. Hi, Tito Boy!
Maraming salamat, Mela. Kapamela. Is that how you call your friends? Ganda
Yes
naman.
po.
I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to be part of Threesome, and I'm proud to be part of your second season. And yes, I'm proud to be part of your life. Salamat.
Thank you, Tito Boy. Thank you for continuously inspiring me to this day.
At maraming salamat din. Kanina habang nakikinig ako sa iyo, sabi ko, ganun pala talaga yon. You know, because you're not conscious about the things sometimes that you do and how you impact on other people. You just do the best you can in whatever you're assigned, whatever you're tasked to do. Mas nare-realize ko yung, katulad, halimbawa ikaw, Mela, tayo, we have to honor our words because we are public speakers, because out there is a young boy, girl listening, being influenced, being empowered, being inspired. So that's the power of the spoken word.
Exactly, Tito Boy. I must agree with you. And the moment that I saw you on television, Star Talk pa po yun. Those
Talaga.
days po, opo. When I saw you in Star Talk, sabi ko, there's someone that I could look up to because I already knew I was different. And
Okay.
you guided me and you strengthened me to just be my best as well. So salamat po sa inspirasyon na lagi mong ibinibigay sa akin.
Maraming salamat. Without me knowing it, and without knowing me that I was affecting you that way. And just so you know, those were days, those were times also, Mela, happy times, but those were times that I was groping in the dark. I was not as well versed as I am today on television, for example, or in hosting. Ito yung mga panahon na nangangapa ka. Ito yung panahon na you were struggling, literally, and as you were trying to be the best of who you could be. So thank you. Thank
And
you.
that we didn't know of. We
Yeah.
always saw you as a confident interviewer. Take us back, Tito Boy, to your first interview. How did you feel?
No, tama yun, Mela, because sometimes being fidgety, fear can actually fuel excellence. On my first interview, I was a wreck. You know, I
Really?
remember, yes, I was. I remember that was in Star Talk. I did a show with Miss Gretchen Barreto, my friend
Show
Gretchen.
and tell. Yes,
That's
Tito
right,
Boy.
show and tell. And I had a portion where I did interviews, and I remember my first interviews. I was completely lost. Naalala ko pa nga, meron pa akong nasabihang instead of saying apple of the eye, parang nasabi ko yata eye of the apple or something. Pero noon pa man, Mela, I embraced my imperfections. I embraced not knowing what I was doing. I mean, to be very honest, I embraced being uncertain. Tawa ko ng tawa sa sarili ko nung preview ko na ng tini-OA ko, as we say on television. When I previewed myself, I was really laughing because when you're on air, you're a different person. Kadalas, lalo na pag nag-uumpisa ka, it takes a while, it takes a journey to really be comfortable. But I have learned that discomfort is okay because it can fuel, as I said earlier, the best of what you can be. So when I was doing my early interviews, I was just going through it. Pero pagkakatapos ng show, I would review, I would watch shows, I was laughing at myself, I was watching how others were doing it, their interviews. I was learning and learning and learning and learning until I still am a student to this very day. I'm still auditioning, as Barbara Walters would say.
I like that. You are still auditioning, even if you have already owned your throne, which is so beautiful right now, Tito Boy.
Thank
I
you.
love
Thank
your
you.
throne. But
I'm very,
I
very
like,
proud of our Filipino artisans. This is by Kenneth Cobonpue.
yes.
This is a world-class Filipino designer. Yes. I'm proud. Thank you for this throne.
And it
Salamat.
suits you, Tito Boy. It suits you as a person, as a personality, and as an LGBTQ plus icon.
Thank you, Mela. Maraming salamat.
Pero
What a
Tito
journey.
Boy, sige pa.
No, I was just going to say what a journey it has been. Inumpisan mo kasi you started with Star Talk and then, show and tell. I don't get to talk about these shows very often because after the two shows or a number of shows, I moved to ABS-CBN in 1999. I've been with
1990,
ABS
yes.
for 20, 21 years. But it's good to remember where you started. It's good to remember how you started. It somehow gives a smile. Ngumingiti ka eh. Oo, nangangapa ako noon. But I was enjoying. I was building relationships. I was building myself as a person, as a host. And I was just enjoying the journey. It was not easy. It was never easy. It was not easy.
And what struck me the most, Tito Boy, upon listening to you is that you liked reviewing your performances.
Yes.
Because to some, like me, for example, when I watch my clips, parang ang nakaka-panic pag naririnig ko muli ang aking sarili. What's your advice to people like me who cringe whenever we hear back our voices or whenever we see our performances?
Oh, I also cringe.
Really?
I also cringe. Yeah, that's part of it. But para sa akin, as a teacher, let me talk to you as a teacher. It's important that we review our performances. Pero it takes some practice. It's not comfortable. It's not comfortable the first times you will be doing your TOA. Pero doon mo malalaman, mali ang English ko, mali ang R. Alaka, ano ba 'yon? Saan ako napunta? I didn't listen. I should have followed up. Where was I? I caught him. What did I do? Okay. Oh, that was good. Tama yung pasok ko. So, you review yourself not just on the mistakes that you did, but on the good points, and you remember them. Dito ko natutunan, halimbawa, Mela, na sometimes wala tayong choice. Pag may guest ka katulad ni Tito Boy na sobrang daldal, and we have a limited time, it is okay to cut. Si Ted Koppel, may term doon, judicious to delicious interruptions. Lalo na when you have 5 minutes, 10 minutes to do an interview, a live interview, and daldal ang guest. The technique there is, kaya mahirap itong Zoom kasi hindi tayo nagkakakita ng personal. You have to watch the breathing of your guest. Humihinga yan. Pag huminga at may 1 second pause, boog, pasukan mo. Doon ko natutunan yun. Kasi, di ba, may mga guest na katulad ko nga na isang tanong ay isang araw sumagot. Yes, Tito Boy, I understand that. But, Tito Boy, that's when because we have pauses. We breathe. Si Ted Koppel, again, ang tawag niya doon ay judicious to delicious interruptions. You have to interrupt sometimes your guests because the platform does not allow you for a day to do the talk shows. I would get a lot of reactions from friends in the past. Boy, sobrang daldal mo. Hindi mo na pinapagsalita yung guest. Kasi pagbaguhan ka rin, you're really there. You have so much energy to prove to people that magaling ka, nakakapagtanong ka, not realizing that sometimes silence is more eloquent. Basta ka muna yun matututunan. Pero pag bago ka, of course, you're out there to prove yourself. That's okay. Pinagdadaanan mo yan eh. That's okay. It's okay. And then you see yourself and you say, okay, next time I'm going to do it, I'm going to rest a bit. This is the reason, Mela, why I say my best interview is not now or yesterday or the one I did with Jeffrey Lopez. My best interview is always that one that is yet to come.
I like that. The best interview is just about to come. And given that, Tito Boy, if your best interview is just about to come, can you tell us what was your worst interview? Really?
No, okay, I'll be very specific because it's a specific question. The first interview that comes to mind, I was doing private conversations and I was doing an interview with my God, the venerable Sister Christine Tan. She was a patriotic human being. She loved this country. She was, people called her. I don't subscribe to labels, but she was called the activist nun, etc. She came to my show. Tapos pagdating niya, alam mo Mela, pagod na pagod siya. Parang gagaling lang niya sa Leveriza. That's where she served the poor. She lived with them. And napakaganda ng kwento niya. Coming from a well-off family, she decided to devote her life for God, for Christ, etc. Pag-upo niya sa harap ko, before, and I was doing private conversations live. It was prime time on ANC. I started private conversations long time ago, 21 years ago, 1999 maybe or 2000. Anyway, so nung umupo siya, Sabi niya sa akin, ganun siya, pagod na pagod, Sister Christine, very charming lady. Sabi niya, sino ka ba? Ano ba ang ginagawa mo? Sabi ko, sister, ako po si Boy Abunda. I am an interviewer. Ako po itong palabas ay Private Conversations with Boy Abunda. Okay. Sabi niya, really tired, genuinely tired. So, binibilangan na kami. So, I did an intro, etc. Hindi ko malilimutan to, Mela, because Sister Christine Tan, ready ako eh. I had research, etc. What is the best thing about being able to serve God and the country? Sabi niya, makes me happy. Tapos,
Yun lang.
okay, tapos, sister, so when you say happiness, what does it mean? When you say happiness, what does it mean? It's a certain kind of feeling that you cannot explain. One line, one question, one line, one word, kakabahan ka. You know, I had 12 minutes to fill in. I had 12 minutes for my first gap and I didn't know how to proceed. Alam mo yung sabay, you are very present in your interview, pero dasal ka ng dasal, nabigyan ka ng Panginoong Diyos ng tenacity and lakas ng loob para maipagpatuloy mo yung interview. I kept on going. I just kept on going. Sister, so what do you stand for? Love of God. Okay, I was praying, Lord, sana matapos na ang 12 minutes. Break. I go, thank you, Lord. So, in front of me was a venerable nun who knew exactly what she wanted to say. She was not verbose. She was very curt, but very polite, very respectful, very authentic. Ito yung challenge nating interviewer. So I said, I cannot go back to my questions. I just have to keep on listening. And I'll take it from there. I'll ride a tide. Sasakyan ko ito. I don't know, Lord, where you're going to bring me, but let's try. Pagdating ng, we're back here on Private Conversations with Boy Abunda with Sister Christine Tan, etc., etc. Napunta kami ngayon sa usapang pagmamahal. Love of God. So sabi niya, this is love of God. Sabi ko, Sister Christine, do you know what it is to love a man? She laughed.
And you consider that a beautiful moment, Tito Boy?
Ito naman, wow. Sabi ko, oo naman. Sabi ko, sister, there, I practiced the art of listening. I was just going to listen. I was going to take it from there, which you're doing right now, actually. Mela, I know you're listening from the beginning of our interview. You didn't do anything but just listen, build from there. So every time she'd mention, for example, tell me the story, sister. Ay, well, meron din naman. Ligawin ka, halimbawa. No naman. Sister, kailan? High school? College? Tell me your story. Nako, wag na. Sister, bakit ayaw mo magkwento? Kasi, sige na nga, konti lang ha. It became a spirited conversation. But the most difficult 12 minutes of my life was with the Venerable Sister Christine Tan. I will never forget that.
After that moment, Tito Boy, how did you grow as an interviewer?
Oh.
What was your learning?
It took a while. Madali kasi sabihin, okay, these are the things I'm going to do. One, I'm going to listen. It's easy to listen, but when you're doing interviews, lalo na pag walang notes, Mela, pag hindi ka nagsusulat, sometimes you do want to lose it. You know, and you say, excuse me, I'm sorry. Bakit you have to cut, no? It takes practice. It takes, my friend usually uses his word, it takes seasoning. You go through seasons. You master it. And as you master it, you return to basics and you become a student again, and you go back to being a master and a student and a master, and every experience becomes a teacher. Every interview is a teacher. Kaya ako, how did I grow? Hanggang ngayon, Mels, it's still that. I prepare, I research, I listen, I totally embrace the now. But is there a formula to a good interview? You're just as good as your guest. You're just as good as your trust and faith in the kindness of God. And you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen.
And I like your wisdom, Tito Boy. The moment that you said, The moment, yes, it is the magic, definitely. And you are one magical figure. The moment that you said that you are always a student, it strikes me because imagine the king of talk is telling us right now that he will always be a student through and through. That means that learning doesn't end, even
No,
if you are considered to be the best.
no. There's no such thing as when you believe that you are the best, you are you're actually just putting a bar in front of you and saying, I'm not I'm learning a lot, Mela. I'm learning a lot now in terms of phraseology, how people ask questions. I spent a lot of time watching, for example, Jimmy Fallon and the interview of Jimmy with BTS for a whole week.
Mhm.
I wanted to find out how he was going to do it. 7 superstars on Zoom, and then they did some videos together. How was the interaction? Was he going to pander? Was he going to be irreverent? Pinanunood mo pa rin yun. Or you watch Jada in the red table and you say, how does she begin? How does she end? I even go to Zach between two ferns and you watch and how do they do that? I mean, how does he ask? I didn't even know that it was written in the beginning. So kailangan patuloy pa rin. Nagbabago ang audience, nagbabago ang platforms, nagbabago ka. So, lahat ng ito, hindi mo pwedeng, hindi, this is the way I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it the way I want to do it. Hindi. You have to keep on listening. You have to ride the tide. You have to go with the wind.
And we are seeing that. We are seeing how you are going through the wind, especially now that
Yeah.
you are in a very different world,
Yes.
that you've managed to embrace. Sabi mo nga sa isang interview, as you launch your vlog, Tito Boy, you said that the digital world is something unfamiliar to you.
Yes.
Yet, you embraced with open arms. Right
Yeah.
now that you are vlogging and you are about to launch your podcast, and tonight that we will be seeing you on Kumu, are you still afraid?
Yes, I am. Maybe afraid. I loved your word when you started this show. I'm not afraid. I'm not fearful. I'm fidgety because I'm still unfamiliar. Tama yung sinabi mo when I started my vlog. I'm getting into a world which I thought I could ignore. I really thought, sabi ko, ayoko, gusto ko yung nakikita ko ang kausap ko. I like doing television because I know my audience. I get the reaction. I got used to it. Pero hindi pala dapat, you have to be open. You have to be open. So when I started to do my YouTube channel, I started to understand, okay, ito pala yung lingwahe na gusto nila. With humility, you cannot impose yourself on them. Ito pala yung gusto nilang mga kwento. Ito pala yung gusto nilang makita sa akin. Now, when they invited me to do Kumu, I'll be very honest, Mela. So I went to the platform, I went to the app. I went back to Marky Ambot and Ronald Arguelles and I said, I'm not going to do it. That's not my market. That's not me. Di ba? Napaka ano pa rin. That's not me. But when we were talking, I figured, stop this bull about not being me. Who am I anyway? I mean, who am I in this universe now where we are? So, sabi ko, oh nga, sige, let me explore that. Let me know the audience. Let me know myself as I engage with this audience. Let me see how I am in threesome. And ikaw, Mela, at ang the person eavesdropping. So I realized that I've been too territorial. It becomes a weakness and partly yabang. It's an ego thing. I'm not speaking on behalf of others, but yung realization ko na, uy, huwag ka magmayabang. One day you're going to be irrelevant. Malalaos ka rin. You're going to be a has-been. You might as well try out on, things that you're not familiar with. So I had to manage that ego. Sabi ko kina Ronald, sige, i-try natin. Meron pa nga akong inseguridad. Sabi ko, but can we have some elements in the show that would support my brand? Because I'm a teacher. I want to do a webinar. Pero habang pinapanood ko yung Kumu, inaaral ko, I realized that, hey, Boy Abunda, just have fun. Just, ito na yung itinuturo mo. Stay true to your core. Have fun. Know the show. Know your audience. And grow. Fly. You teach your students to fly. You teach your students the power, to tell their story. parang yung podcast. You know, when Mark Noveloso,
Mm,
with Mark, our friend, started to talk to me about the podcast. That was a different story. I became excited because I was exposed
mm.
to the podcast of Michelle Obama. Sabi ko, wow, Michelle is doing it. Logan is doing it. I mean, so many other people are doing it. So it's worth a try. And it's similar to radio, yet it is not radio. So it was something that was seductive to me. And by the way, mag-uumpisa po yung aking kumo mayang gabi ng 9 o'clock. It's called The
Yes.
Best Talk. 9 o'clock every Saturday for the next 10 Saturdays. At ang maganda nito, Mela, pinayagan nila ako na bawat episode, lahat ng magre-regalo ng kanilang mga pagmamahal, you know, the diamonds, will go to a charity. And tonight, it's going to go to Bakwit. You know, the internally displaced people.
Yes po.
I'm so proud that whatever gifts we receive tonight will go to Bakwit. Going to the podcast, when Mark and I spoke about it, I was seduced by the idea of doing a podcast. We launched on my birthday, October 29. Sana po'y maging bahagi kayo ng ating threesome doon sa podcast na yan. I'll be doing a conversation with Harry Roque, presidential spokesperson.
Wow.
And I'll be doing a conversation with Angel Locsin. And I'll be doing a conversation with myself. 3 episodes will be simultaneously streamed on what is the platform?
Spotify.
Diba? Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and in any platform where you're able to listen to your podcasts, we will be available there. That's October 29, sometime in the morning. Maraming salamat.
Something to wake up to, Tito Boy. We will listen to your voice. On that note, do you find your voice sexy?
Hindi. You know, but I know that my voice is distinctive. Kaya abangon! That's why I'm parodied and I enjoy that. To public speakers, you don't have to have the most sonorous, the most pleasant voice. You have to have a distinctive voice. Hindi naman siguro ako masyadong nakakainis, palagay ko, pero I have a distinctive voice. Oo. Kaya pag dumadaan ako halimbawa sa mga lugar, yung dati when I was doing the buzz, abangan!
Susunod! You own those, Tito Boy. That's very you. And we actually miss you saying those. Do you miss those times?
I do. Every Saturday evening, madaling araw, I was in a recording room sa ELJ building, ABS-CBN. I would record the scripts of sila Mark Noveloso, sila Darla, si Ian, si Romer. I miss those times. I think some of my happiest times were those when I was doing the buzz. Namimiss ko siya. Alam mo kagabi, and I am talking about this for the first time, I'd like to be able to develop a material. I was asking myself so many questions. Sabi ko, nasan ka ba ngayon, boy? At what point are you in your life? Sabi ko, this is really exciting. Sabi ko, kung halimbawa 5 chapters ang buhay ko bilang talk show host, I'm probably beginning the 4th chapter. But my decision and my resolve to be the best is even stronger. Nag-peak ka na ba, Boy Abunda? Oo, tanggap ko yun Mela. Nag-peak na ako. We all pass. The one immutable law in the business is you do not last forever. You have to go. Pero sabi
you have
ko,
an expiration date.
Oh yeah, oo. Nakakatakot lang, nakakasakit lang kasi yung ginagamit na word I'm still in the game. I'm still relevant. But malapos ba ako? Oo naman. Will I be a has-been? Oo naman. No matter how painful it is, I will get there. But before I get there, and I'm not in a hurry to get there, before I get there, I still want to explore a lot of things. I want to teach. I want to do some of my best interviews in the next few years. I want to do my best shows in the next few years so that when either I decide or the universe decides that it's time to do something else, I would have done the best I could.
And Tito Boy, trust me, coming from someone who followed you, I don't think you will ever be a has-been, and you will lose that because there are many Melas in this world who are inspired by you. And definitely, you will never lose a listener, a viewer, because you have me. I
You're
will
very kind.
always follow you.
Oh, that's
Because,
emotional. That's very kind. That's very kind.
and as you mentioned, because you see yourself as a teacher, and I learned a lot of things from you, and I still am learning from you. So thank you for not being so selfish in the things that you have learned through the times that you were as an interviewer.
No, I was just, Mela, I was just ruminating. I was just reflecting, and that's part of my being a teacher. We talk about tenure. We talk about lifespans of careers. So, nung nag-iisip ako, sabi ko, the best way pala to do it is when you decide that you have well, thank you for saying that you will always be my audience, but when somebody says you're not for this space anymore, all you did all your life should be able to prepare you to do the next best things in whatever that is. Is it farming? Is it teaching? Is it pole dancing? Is it farming? Whatever it is, you should have been prepared to still be the best of who you are.
And definitely, Tito Boy, you are showing us because you keep on learning.
Oh
Imagine,
yeah.
di ba, for the King of Talk to explore different routes right now in the pandemic at mamaya mapapanood ka namin sa Kumu with a totally different audience, but you are still sticking to your core. I think that is very admirable.
And
What, what,
another thing,
sige,
Mela, I wanted to remind young kids, for example, especially in the concept of fame. Kagabi nung iniisip ko lang ito, sabi ko, you have to remember that before you started on Anything Boy Abunda, you were anonymous, you were unknown. So that's not a strange territory. You just have to go home. You just have to go back. You just have to go back. But this time, stronger, wiser, better, more open. Yun yung maybe because I was affected in the last days. I was reading the books of Judi Dench. I read the book of Me, yung book ni Elton John. I was reading a lot of books, and they were tackling this whole episode about producers not wanting them anymore, not being able to, kasi may biological component in Mela, not being able to dance and sing the way they could in the past. Sabi ko, ang batas talaga ng buhay, no? Lahat talaga nagdadaan. But you can be, for lack of a better word, husband is a cruel word. You can be there and you can be happy at the same time. You can be there and you can still be useful and relevant. Pwedeng ganun without having to be defensive. Kasi ang
mhm.
tendency natin ay it's the ego, it's the pride, I'm not there anymore. Somebody is doing what I used to do. Normal yun. I wanna be able to tell young talents that's the cycle of fame. Fame is fame can be it is toxic to a certain point.
Mhm.
Kailangan malaman mo na nagtatapos yun. Kung halimbawa nag-i-stunt ka as a movie star in the past, pagtanda mo hindi mo na kaya yun. But you will discover that there are other things you can do better. And that's what you have to discover. You have to discover the things that will make you more interesting. It's not losing, but you can also be wealthier. You can be wealthier in experience, in your thinking. You can be wiser. Yun lang yun. But malungkot na malungkot, but it takes a lot of courage to be able to embrace that. You will not always be on top. You will not always be on top. But you will always be relevant. You can be. You can always be relevant.
And Tito Boy, you will always be relevant because of the service that you
Yeah.
continuously give us.
Thank you.
Actually, Tito Boy, looking at you, you don't embody fame, but you embody service. Where does this come from? To serve, to be able to be a vehicle in which you can carry information, you can carry things that can educate people, things that can affect people. Where is this coming from?
I didn't know, Mela, that it was service. It is natural for me to share. I like, for example, today I made some calls because I'm endorsing a certain product. I would call, alam mo, sumali ka. I think this is a chance for you to improve your life. I like watching others fly. It's natural. I like watching others become successful. And one of the most natural things about me is it's a natural inclination. It's a proclivity to teach. Alam nila Mark yan, backstage. Or alam nyo yun. Dressing rooms, backstage. I would say, can I share with you guys? The best way to phrase a question is this. In grammar, blah, 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 blah. In public speaking today, understandability uh, comes primary over syntax or grammar. I like teaching. Na-realize ko lang yung salitang service nung madalas na pinag-uusapan nila Aling Oprah, and actually it was not service. One time she had a conversation, I think, with Eckhart Tolle. I don't know if it was Eckhart or Maya Angelou, and then they started to talk about purpose. And ang kanilang pinagkasunduan, purpose should be aligned with service to fellow men. A purpose which is not aligned to service is not the purpose that what it should be. It should be, what has the other become because of me? Dadating ka dun eh. Ano ang nangyari sa kanya dahil sa akin? I was not aware of that in the beginning, that I was doing it, until nga I came across the greats. Some of the greatest modern thinkers. Pop thinkers ang tawag nila, but I think some of the best philosophers, Eckhart Tolle, Oprah Winfrey, Angelo, and many others.
And speaking of this, Tito Boy, I want this to become a springboard because your purpose is always providing a venue in which people can learn and people can appreciate the value of just simply talking. And there's this question that hit me, and I want this to be raised right now. This is by Axel Beltran. For the King of Talk, what is the hardest question to answer?
How old are you, boy? That has always been the hardest question. You know why?
Why is it hard to answer?
It may sound facetiously, it may sound a joke, but there is a serious side to that question. For the longest time, I lied about my age. You know why? Because a celebrity business is attached to youth. It's attached to being young, to being fresh. So, sa pagsisinungaling ko tuloy sa edad ko, ayun, if you go to Wikipedia, I'm 64 years old. I was born in 1955. Sabi nga ni Bong sa akin, ayan, yan ang karma mo. Sa kasisinungaling mo, pinatanda ka tuloy. That's a hard question. Of course, my friends know how old I am, but that's a difficult question. That's a difficult question, especially for people who are in public space. I appreciate people who are brave, who say, I'm 52 years old, I'm 59 years old. That takes something, Mela. It takes, because old people in the business are marginalized. Elderly women are marginalized to supporting roles, to mother roles. Thank you, Meryl Streep, that at your age you can still be the star of a movie. But how many Meryl Streeps do we have in the world? So that was the reason, and that is the reason why I have always been afraid. I've always been. Another question, marami akong kinatatakutan. I'm still afraid. Akala ko nabawasan na. I'm still afraid to be asked questions about death. After Nanay's passing away, it still unsettles me. I'm still very, very uncomfortable about it. I'm still so afraid of death. I'm still so afraid. But it's not a kind of fear that consumes me. It's a kind of fear that fuels me to be humbler, to be better, to be more accepting, to be more of whatever I am. It's not a kind of fear. It's not a kind of fear that paralyzes me. Mm-hmm.
And going back to the question, how old are you, Tito Boy? Have you gained that bravery to answer that question as we speak? Can you answer that question outright?
No.
Why?
Because I'm not brave enough yet.
But Tito Boy, will you ever gain that bravery?
Pero the question is, will I tell you, Mela, in person? Yes. But
Okay.
publicly, alam mo kung bakit? Baka mas lalo ma-confuse ang tao. And also because I don't want you to be complicit to another lie.
Yes. I respect that, Tito Boy. But you know what, Tito Boy? Regardless of age, you still feel young because you're
Yeah.
parang you've been in the presence of young people. Mark, Jenica, your writers are young people, and you were able to emanate their energy.
Totoo. May mga, of course, may mga philosophical way of looking at it or talking about it. It's a state of mind, etc. Am I afraid to grow old? At a certain point, Mela, I was so afraid. Alam mo bakit? May pananaw ako dati na hindi na tama ngayon. But dati ang pananaw ko, my point of view was that people generally are not kind to old gays. Yun yung dumikit sa aking isipan because, when I was very young, I was in Remedyo Circle. We were in one of those benches in the circle, and there was this fabulous elderly gay who was in red shoes, red socks, and in full regalia, etc. And alam mo naman dun sa Remedyo Circle, diba, there are a lot of kids coming from the different houses, places. It's a wonderful mix of people. Tawa sila ng tawa, pinagtatawanan nila yung matanda. It stuck again to my mind. Sabi ko, bakit ba ganito? And sabi ko, I'm not going to allow that. I'm not going to allow that to happen to me. I will not allow anybody to ridicule me. I will wear my red pair of shoes. I will wear my fuchsia trench coat, but I will make sure that no one is going to laugh at me. And not at least in my presence. Not at least in my face. Parang nasaktan ako dun. At the same time, natakot ako na, is this the way they treat elderly gays? One of the reasons also why I wanted to work so hard, I was so driven, I was so focused. Sabi ko, Panginoong Diyos, bigyan niyo ako ng trabaho, ayoko maghirap. Kasi hindi nila, noon yun ang pananaw ko, pinagtatawanan nila, hindi sila mabait. Pag mahirap ka, wala kang suot na maganda, lahat, yun. That was my view. Of course, some have changed, right? I mean, right now in my state of mind. But a lot of them, Mela, totoo pa rin. Totoo pa rin. Hindi pa rin ako papayag na isang araw sa buhay ko, pag lalaroan ako, ayoko nga. Simply because I express differently because of my sexual orientation and gender identity. Simply because I wear trench coats during summer and I wear red socks and pairs of whatever. I have my Lobotans. Ay, hindi ako
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That fueled hard work. That fueled hard work in my life.
And that is something that we will always admire about you because of the fact that you saw people, how they treat our community.
Yeah.
It encouraged you to wear your trench coat with pride, to wear your boots with pride, which, Tito Boy, I'm very amazed. You love high-heeled boots.
I don't know why.
Why? Yun nga,
Maybe because
interesado ko.
because maybe subconsciously I wanted to be a beauty queen. That's a joke. Hindi ko alam. Parang like you, Mela. Parang I have fascination. My collection my collection one time ang YSL, ang SL, ang my collection ang Louboutin. Lahat may mga even Alexander McQueen now. Ngayon, meron na po ito talaga yung mga pinag-iipunan natin, di ba? Wala naman ako, yung ganyang kakatataas, meron talaga, I'm just so fascinated by them. I don't know what it is. Ngayon nga siguro mahigit isang taon na wala akong bagong sapatos. And, you discover pala na, I'm okay. I'm crazy. I mean, I love, I'm fascinated by shoes, but I am not obsessed. This pandemic humbled all of us. This pandemic taught us to be simple, and I'm learning. I'm really learning.
Speaking of learnings from the pandemic, Tito Boy, what did this health crisis made you do that you did not do in the past?
Oh my God. Kilala ko na ngayon ang bawat kanto ng bahay ko. Marunong na ako maglinis. Nakakabisita na ako sa mga rest house namin. I know my niece better. I know my mga kasamahan sa bahay better. I know Bong. I appreciate Bong better now. I know myself better. But the biggest lesson, if I go to the lesson this pandemic has taught us taught me. I think I have become more considerate. I have become kinder. I have become more compassionate because, not my words, Bill Gates, we realized that we are all going to die.
That that is something that strikes me, Tito Boy. It
Di
means
ba?
that you are making sense of your life right now, and you're valuing time, which leads me in one of your interviews, in the bottom line, you said, tinanong ka, um, ano yung isang bagay na wala si Boy Abunda? And without batting an eyelash, you said, panahon. Did you regain that
Oh
time?
yeah, I have that now. I have that now. Ang konteksto nun, in that bottom line interview, I wanted to spend more time with Nanay, who was bedridden during that time. I wanted to spend more time with Bong. I wanted to spend more time in my house. I wanted to spend more time and read. I didn't have that. Totoo yun. Now, I am blessed with time. I'm still very busy, but I am homebound. I am here, at home, enjoying. And kilala ko na lahat ang mga paintings ko. I appreciate what I have, what I don't have. I appreciate who I am, who I am not. Ang sarap, Mela. Oo, I have now time. I have time now. Yun
If
lang pala
ever,
yun.
and if ever things will go back, of course, it won't be the same as it used to be. But if things go back to the routines that you had prior to the pandemic, will you still allow others to take that time from you?
Palagay ko hindi na. Palagay ko I'm non-committal, pero palagay ko hindi na. Palagay ko babawiin ko na ang iba. I-retain ko na ang iba. I know what it is to have time. Palagay ko hindi na, Mela. I will continue. I'm excited to do television after this year. I will be doing television, mga kaibigan. I will be doing television shows. I will still be doing a lot of things. I will be managing talents. I will be teaching. I will be teaching public speaking. I will be doing what I used to do, but I will have to find a way to pace. I will have to find a way to schedule, to prioritize. And I don't think I'm willing to lose everything that I got during the pandemic. I will not.
And that is a beautiful thing that you will be carrying with you, Tito Boy. We
Yes.
are excited to see you again on TV. We are very much
Thank you.
excited to see you again doing the greatest interviews, because you have actually that power to just ask the toughest questions. Why are you so brave? Where's the guts coming from? Na ikaw lang ang nakakapagtanong nun, Tito Boy.
Because I have no malice. I don't sit in front of a guest with malicious intent. I ask because I want an answer and my audience deserves an answer. Hindi ako umuupo sa harap ng aking panauhin para manghiya, para to put down anybody. It is integral to my conversation. It is important to the conversation. Yung tapang din, siguro nang gagaling sa katotohanan, kasi pakiramdaman yun, Mela eh. May mga pagkakataon, for example, that body language, the eyes, you know when your guest is ready. You know when your guest is welcoming. Pag ako halimbawa, when I notice someone, just being, moving backward or, being reticent, no, I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't go there. I wouldn't punish anybody. Pero may mga guests who come to the show and who literally tells you, with not verbally, who literally tells you, I am okay. I'm ready to take it, to take any questions. Another reason for that, especially now that I'm doing a lot of shows as an interviewee, Mela, you can ask me anything. Because if I can ask anything can be asked of me. Kasi, simple lang naman talaga ang kwento po dito. Pag may tanong na hindi ka komportableng sagutin, pag may tanong na ayaw mong sagutin, say it. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. Or I'm sorry, I'm not ready to answer that question. Because I will say that. Not now. In time, I'll probably tell you. Pero hindi ngayon. Ganun lang. I mean, why make a big fuss about it? That stands. That's a conversation. Kasi meron ka rin responsibilidad. Lalo, television is a performance to a certain extent. Huwag natin sabihin, yung you have to be authentic. Of course you can be authentic. You can be real. But that authenticity is placed in a performance ground. You're performing in front of the cameras. People expect you. You have an image, you have a brand image. May mga moments na ito na. Dadating na yung, are you married? Or do you have a child? Etc. But I think, Mela, I've also been blessed with the trust of people. Ang dami-daming mga guests noon hanggang ngayon na pag may gusto silang sasabihin nila, I want an interview with Tito Boy. And I will forever be indebted. I will forever be grateful sa pagtitiwala, sa respeto ng mga tao. Again, sasabihin ko kung bakit. Because I never had malice. I never had an intent to put down anyone. I never had an intent to hurt anyone. I asked the dangerous and the difficult questions because they were necessary. If along the way I hurt people because I asked the difficult questions, to this very moment, I will apologize.
And thank you for telling us that, Tito Boy. Thank you for always being authentic, even though you are telling us that yes, television is a performance, but you never lost it. In the same manner, Tito Boy, Jumar Yap is asking, mahaba ang kanyang question, but the essence of his question is this: how do you handle interviewees that you don't like or is not or does not have the same position, opinions as you do?
There are two questions there. You don't like, and then different opinions. Okay? Tayo, ito yung magandang bahagi ng ating kultura. Hindi lahat ng bahagi ng ating kultura ay sinusunod ko. Tayo, pag pumasok ang isang tao sa ating tahanan bilang isang panauhin, when you welcome a guest to your house, you have to be polite. And I think that's one of the best traits of the Filipino. When you welcome somebody to your space, you are courteous, you're polite, you're loving, you are welcoming. You do not embarrass a guest. There are reasons why you don't like a person. Sometimes you express your dislike to other friends, or you express this to your partner, Bong. Sometimes you don't even express this. You just feel it, that I don't like this person for some reason. And sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes you're wrong. I am not going to invoke this dislike, this feeling, to treat my guest badly. That's gonna be unfair. That's not right. That's not right. That's not even, I'm looking for the word. It's egregious. It's not good. It's not good to do an interview with someone you don't like at babastusin mo lang. Huwag na. Nobody deserves that. You cannot disrespect a guest simply because you do not like the person for whatever reason. Kasi tao lang naman tayo, hindi naman tayo lahat natin gusto. May mga tao talaga na hindi natin gusto. Doon naman sa mga taong iba ang opinion sa akin, mas enjoy ako doon. I like interviewing people who think differently because I'm able to probe why they think the way they do, and I'm able to reflect why I think the way I do. It should not be a problem. As a matter of fact, they are better guests than people who echo what you think. Because if you're an echo chamber, ba't pa tayo nagpalitan ng ideya at ng kuro-kuro? Maganda yung, hindi boy ako ang pananaw ko ito. Ang karanasan mo kasi ito, boy. And then ako magsasabi din ako, oo, ako ang pinanggagalingan ko dito. Kasi pag nanonood ka ng iba't ibang punto de vista, ang dami mong nakukuhang ideya, insights. And then, ang takeaway mo as a viewer is that you become more enlightened. You become more exposed to, ay, ang dami palang pananaw tungkol sa same-sex marriage, tungkol sa statement ng Santo Papa in Francesco, the documentary. Ay, ganun pala ang pananaw nila. Okay. Now, having been exposed to different opinions allows you to form an enlightened opinion. Hindi yung, Mela, oo, chorus lang kami ng chorus ni Mela. So, doon sa dalawa, people you don't like deserve respect. People with different opinions are some of the best guests.
And you will never forget them.
Yeah, never. You will never forget them.
Eto, Tito Boy, na bring up mo to. You as an interviewer, and now that you are interviewing, you are welcoming. You are welcoming questions. I hope
Yeah.
you don't mind me asking, because
No.
the industry
Yeah.
regards you as ama,
Yeah.
a father figure. Did you ever think of having a child?
Biologically. Alam mo, napag-usapan namin ni Bong yan. Sabi ko, ba't hindi natin subukan? Sabi ni Bong, totoo naman to. Matanda na tayo to have a child. It would be unfair for the child dahil I think bawi na tayo. Let's have more time together. Let's have more time for each other. We do some of the best conversations, some of the most riveting conversations now. Kami ni Bong. Just the other day, Mela, we talked about our infidelities. We talked about our sins against each other. We laughed. Oo, ganda ng pag-uusap namin. We talked about forgiveness. Ang dami namin pinag-usapan ng mga kalokohan, the good things we did. Na napag-usapan namin yung paghanga namin sa isa't isa. Dati hindi namin kaya yung infidelities. Hindi. Hindi namin kaya pag-usapan yan. Hindi kami nag-aaway. Just the other day, quietly we talked about it. And I prayed to God and I said, Lord, thank you that you brought us here. Child, siguro 20 years ago would have been the right time. 20 years ago would have been the right time. I would have loved. It was Bong who was not ready. And then when Bong brought up the idea, ako naman yung medyo ano. So sabi namin siguro hindi nga. Pero hindi naman ako kulang. May mga pamangkin ako. Sabi nga ng kaibigan ko, boy, iba pa rin yung anak. Sabi ko, that's okay. That's for others. Ako, ready kami. May pamangkin kami. May kapatid. I'm now devoting so much of my love. I'm giving so much of my love to people who deserved it. And I was just too busy to share that love with them.
And you shared some of that love with me. And if ever you'll allow me, I can call you Daddy Boy. Daddy Boy!
Ama is okay.
Ama.
Ama is okay. Daddy can suggest some things, Mela.
Yes. In our language, Tito Boy. In our language. But you know what, Tito Boy? I'm very excited with you because I brought that question up because somehow a child is a connection to the next generation. But I am very happy that you are now connecting to a generation through this digital medium, through vlogging, through Kumu later, and through a podcast next week on your birthday.
A podcast that is called Who Are You When No One Is Watching?
And that leads me to the question, who is Boy Abunda when no one is watching?
No one.
No one. No follow-up question, Tito Boy.
I have another answer, pero ito hindi na, who are you when no one is watching? Maleficent.
Maleficent. Okay.
She was the mistress. Ganito. She was the mistress, Maleficent, because she was the mistress of evil. But she's one evil who had a heart. Because I believe, you remember, I interviewed Angelina Jolie. I believed that Maleficent, despite her being the mistress of evil, because of her good heart, her respect for family, her acknowledgement of love, she's a kind of mistress of evil that would go to heaven.
Yes.
And don't we have an evil side to all of us?
We all do. We all do, of course. We are not purely good and we are also not purely bad. We all have that.
We all have Maleficent in us.
And I want to be Maleficent.
Who am I when no one is watching? No one, really. Just no one. Just no one.
But remember, Tito Boy, you are somebody to people, even if we are not watching you.
Thank you. Really, thank you.
Again, Tito Boy, please plug your Kumu session tonight and please plug your podcast. The floor is yours.
I'm very happy, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody eavesdropping on Threesome. I think this is the most fun threesome that we have.
Thank you.
I love it. I love the ako ikaw it's boy. I mean, I really love it. I love this. I love this blurb. Everybody talks about threesome in whispers. Now, threesome is on air, and before I answer the question, the reason also I'm attracted to your title is because it is an engagement. It's good to be engaged. It's good to talk to people. Just talk about talk and talk about talk and then talk about the talk. Because we need to be engaged. Kailangan magpakialaman tayo. Dati kasi, remember that biblical line, I'm not my brother's keeper. We are our brother's keepers. You talked about service. You're right. So this is the reason why I'm exploring the digital platforms. I will be on Kumo. It's a show called Best Talk, 9 o'clock in the evening. Ano ang palabas ho na ito ay kulitan, tawanan, kwentuhan, bahala na. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And then October 29, in the morning of October 29, I will start my podcast. Of course, my creative director is Mark Noveloso. It's called Who Are You? No One Is Watching. In the morning of October 29, we will be streaming 3 episodes. My conversation with Angel Oxin, Harry Roque, and my conversation with myself. How it's going to happen, the conversation with myself, I have yet to do it. Anytime, any day now, and I am looking forward to what's going to come out of it. Maraming salamat, and I will be back on television next year. Maraming salamat lang sa suporta, pagmamahal, at sa pagiging kaibigan ng maraming tao, sa lahat ng nakikinig, sa lahat ng present dito sa ating palabas, Mela, for you being there, for just being present, for listening, for agreeing, for being provoked, for disagreeing, for just being present. For just being present. Maraming salamat.
Walang anuman, Tito Boy. You have always been present in my life.
Thank
From
you.
From the moment I watched you on Star Talk, that was 1998. 1998, very familiar. Because I had fun watching you. Diba? And parang episodes yon before umalis si Miss Chris at lumipat sa ABS-CBN. And when you moved to ABS-CBN, I followed you. Kaya nakabisado rin namin ang mga jingles ng The Buzz. And little did I know, I will be working with you on The Buzz.
Right.
And that was a dream come true. And now you allowed me to interview you, which is another dream come true.
And Mela, sorry. I also have a YouTube channel because we've been talking about it and people may be wondering what it is. It's called the Boy Abunda Talk Channel. Batok. The Boy Abunda Talk Channel on YouTube. Kindly subscribe. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Go ahead, Mels.
No, Tito Boy. Ayun ang pupuntahan ko kasi. Yung linya, while you were cleaning your shoes, ito po, mapapanood niyo po sa shoes episode ni Tito Boy sa Boy Abunda Talk Channel. He mentioned this, na parang ang dami niyang koleksyon ng sapatos because it was vital for him because he was doing shows. And
every day.
This struck me the most. He is very excited for the shows that he is still going to do.
Because remember, the best shows are yet to come.
And we are looking forward to that. Thank you for being our teacher, Tito Boy. Thank you because you taught us how to dream. You taught us how to be our best. You taught us how to laugh at our mistakes. You taught us how to adjust at times like this. We are in a crisis, and in any moment of crisis, we will be going back and we will be reclaiming our time. Thank you because you showed us that you are human too, and you are afraid of the things that are happening right now. But that fear, that being in a state of fidget, will not allow you to just control yourself from taking that route, because you are brave. And your bravery will always be a reminder for us that Boy Abunda is our hero.
Oh, thank you, Mela. You're very kind. Continue to fly. Continue to embrace that beauty. Really.
Thank you.
I'm just so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you. And thank you, Mark. I know you're there. You're eavesdropping. Thank you, because you are the threesome in this friendship. Mela, Mark, and Tito Boy.
You are our ama, Tito Boy. Maraming salamat po. At sa lahat ng
Salamat,
mga
anak.
salamat po. Sa lahat ng mga kapamela na tumutok sa isang oras ng simpleng kwentuhan pero usapang melaman, maraming salamat sa inyo. This is just the beginning of our second season. Thank you very much for engaging with us, and I am looking forward to sharing more intimate, bold, and personal conversations with you. Ako po si Mela Habijan, and this has been Threesome. Bye everyone!